Hi, this is Jason Ocampo. I'm here with the good doctors of Bioware, Ray and Greg.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Now, the game that is actually shipping early next year, and the one I got it confused with, Mass Effect 2, which it's not here at the show, but what can you I mean, they just put out the trailer and the kind of the announcement recently. What can you tell us about that game?
Well, certainly, first we always say, warn fans, save their save games. Keep those, keep them. No matter how confused and worried and scared you got at the trailer. I mean, we want to provoke people's thought and discussion. Everything in what you saw in that teaser trailer was true, and everything we've said so far is true about the game. So it's an enigma wrapped in a mystery. The game itself has actually come along really well. The team, Mass Effect team, of course. I mean, it's the same gang back again, working from an established set of technology. So really making awesome headway. Working on improving the overall tightness of the game, amping up the shooting intensity, even more intimate story. I think that we obviously made some great strides. And the real reason is when you make a game like Mass Effect 1, a whole bunch of time is spent just figuring things out, like answering a lot of questions. By the end, you've answered them all, you ship the game. The sequel started with most of those questions being answered and then just making content and fine-tuning. And so it's very, very exciting where that game is going. And of course, we've talked about it on Xbox and PC, and what we did on Mass PC. People were very excited to see just how we progressed it, and then it's going to be yet another jump, the whole game experience.
Do you guys view Mass Effect 2 as being like the middle part of a trilogy? I mean, and those are traditionally the tougher parts to pull off in any kind of trilogy.
Yeah, it's the dark second act of the Mass Effect trilogy. So we have always talked about Mass Effect being a trilogy. We planned for that story arc right from the beginning, and this is definitely going to be falling into what we see as a very sweet spot of that, the way the universe unfolds. In Mass Effect 1, humanity kind of was a little naive. You were the tip of the spear of humanity entering the galactic stage. And things were, wow, there's aliens, wow, there's the Citadel, things like that. Now it's a dark second chapter where, boy, I don't want to reveal the story in case you haven't seen the end of Mass Effect 1, but there's some bad shit going on at the end of the game, right?
Bad stuff.
Oh, you might have to bleep that out, but
bad stuff going on.
But it's awesome, it's epic, and now humanity is prepared, right? And you are entering a new phase, a dark second act of the Mass Effect universe. So we're very excited about it. It's a more personal story. It's more intense. We're really amping up the shooter aspects of the game. It's a shooter RPG. So we're going to really make it feel like the intensity of the action is equal to the size of the story we're conveying. So in many ways the RPG elements are amped up, but so are the shooter elements. As well, the exploration, which is something we got a lot of feedback on. Boy, wouldn't it be great if the exploration it's cool to do it, but couldn't it be more integrated into the main story and make that story feel even more important and personal? So there's still optional uncharted worlds, but now they enhance the main story arc, so it's a tight, integrated experience, and I think players are going to want to do all that optional content, but it's up to them to decide to do it. And of course, we're working on a lot of technical issues and fixing things and just tuning things up and making it awesome from start to finish. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's so much fun to work on a sequel, to know here's the things you need to do to make this game experience just an amazing one for our fans. And I think we're going to deliver.
Any update on any DLC for Mass Effect 1 coming out, and plans for DLC for Mass Effect or Dragon Age, Mass Effect 2?
Well, certainly. I mean, we are working on something on Mass 1, obviously, and there's percolating, getting there. I mean, there's still some work to do, but we're making good progress. It's just DLC, so we haven't spoken too much about Mass Effect 2's DLC. That's still way out there. But I mean, again, you can count on stuff from us in that regard.
So PS3 fans are wondering, Mass Effect 2 coming to their platform anytime soon?
Well, what we said on the front in terms of platforms for Mass Effect 2 is we're planning to release it on 360 and PC, and beyond that we have no comment.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
You've seen it yourself. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack. Shepard. Hello, I'm Martin Sheen, and I play Elusive Man in Mass Effect 2. We're at war. One very specific man might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence. He's the kind of guy that always stresses that the ends justify the means.
If this is a war, I'll need an army, or a really good team. Hey, what's up, kids? It's Seth Green, and I am back playing Joker. He's an excellent pilot who's been through a lot. He's just got a little bit of an attitude when anybody questions him. License to screw up, Commander. You heard it straight from the ship. Joker's only romance is with the computer. Thanks, dude.
Mr. Moreau does not trust me. It offends him that I am installed aboard his ship's computers.
I've been jockeying to get screen time with Trisha Helfer for quite a while now. It's sad that our first coupling is in a video game where she's a disembodied voice and I'm a guy with brittle bones.
I've had some experience playing robots, and so a computer, generated is similar, although my Battlestar character was vastly different than Edie. I am the Normandy. I trust him to keep me operational. He trusts me to keep him alive.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Strahovski, and I'm the face and the voice of Miranda Lawson in Mass Effect 2. I didn't fully believe you'd be up to the task, and it seems I was wrong. She's been genetically modified to be the perfect woman.
Scared, Ms. Lawson?
Cautious, Commander Shepard, but interested.
I'm Carrie Ann Moss, and I'm starring as Arya. I'm the boss, CEO, queen if you're feeling dramatic. I know I've been so fortunate I've gotten to play really wonderful characters, and Trinity in the Matrix obviously was like this really strong woman, but it's not that often that you get to play someone like that.
Hi, my name is Michael Hogan, and I play Captain Bailey. He's running a rough and tumble precinct. There's a nice little place in the foothills I'm going to retire to. Not that I'm retiring anytime soon.
My name's Natalia Sigliuti. I play the character of Morinth.
My lovers spent their last moments experiencing pleasure you can't imagine.
It's a lot of fun to play someone that's that in touch with using what they've got.
It's been a long time, Captain.
It's Counselor now. I'm Keith David, and I'm playing Councilman Anderson. He's not really good at compromising his principles. It's only fair that you be allowed to speak for yourself.
The sci-fis are based on this world. They get their sources from this world, but some are really visionary. This conclave is brought to order. Does Captain Shepard have any new evidence to submit to this hearing?
Tally's achievements are the only evidence you should need.
I'm Liz Soroka, and I play Tali.
I am Clan Zora, crew of the Starship Nima, and you are an idiot.
Damn straight! Tally's done more for this fleet than you ever will.
The graphics of Mass Effect 2 are absolutely phenomenal. It's a world not unlike Blade Runner meets Serenity. You have flying cars and guys with really big guns.
I thought that, space was over and I was done with and I was going to go on to something else, but keeps pulling me back in.
These things always seem to sort of leapfrog. They seem to get more and more sophisticated, subtler, and this one doesn't disappoint.
I need more than words.
I'd be disappointed if I could persuade you that easily. Go and see for yourself.
There is only one measure of success. Kill or be killed.
Hey, what's up? It's Dr. Greg Zeschuk of BioWare. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very relaxed.
We are, as you pointed out earlier, we are keeping it mad casual now that Dragon Age Origins is on shelves.
Yeah, it just what came out yesterday. Super excited, and like you said, very relaxed here in the interview.
You feel like you got a little bit of a breather before we roll into Mass Effect 2 because it's coming up sooner than we expected.
Yeah, what's funny is we actually Ray and I sort of finished our Dragon Age playthroughs about a month ago. We just finished our Mass 2 first playthroughs. We're back at it, so there was no breather, and we're not really as relaxed as we look right now. But it's great. I mean, obviously, Dragon Age has got a wonderful reception, some fabulous reviews. Fans are loving it. Like we can tell how many people playing with this community site and everything. It's just getting slammed, so we're really happy.
Clearly, you've had time to shave recently.
I have had time to shave. I'm participating in Movember. I've shaved my mustache and I'm going to regrow it back. And it's for prostate cancer awareness and research support. So that's and we were actually going to do a thing with Dragon Age because they have so many crazy mustaches in the game that we never got around to it. And I saw Rockstars doing it. They're doing the Movember mustache. I was like, man, we had that same idea, and our mustaches are way crazier than theirs.
It's a missed opportunity for synergy.
Well, you guys did a story about giant mustaches, didn't you? That was pretty cool.
There's a lot of good mustaches in this industry.
There are some very good mustaches.
So having just gotten one game out the door and being on the verge of shipping another one, how do you feel that facial hair configurations contribute to the power you need to get through a game development cycle?
Well, it's been tough. I think the facial hair is always helpful. But going back to back Dragon Age, then Mass Effect 2, and like you said, it's coming out I think quite a bit earlier than folks expected. We announced, January 26th for the Xbox at 360 and the PC version of Mass Effect 2, and it's coming up fast. I mean, the Christmas is a short while away. Then right after Christmas, it's the big game to get. So it's been really busy, but teams are pumping. We actually have 2 completely separate teams working on the products. So that actually makes it possible. I mean, fortunately, the sort of folks localizing and testing are still the same, so it's real busy for them. But everyone's pumped. I mean, Dragon Age was a pleasure to finish, and then Mass Effect 2 is looking really great as well.
Very cool. So what you said is kind of true. It definitely took us by surprise that Mass Effect 2 is following so quickly after Dragon Age. Do you guys have any concern about those games being so close together? Do you feel like maybe some people might not have finished their massive, epic Dragon Age playthroughs by the time Mass Effect 2 rolls around? I mean, was that any kind of consideration in the strategic timing of these products?
I think it's a consideration, but at the same time, it felt like to us, especially folks can get into, tuck into Dragon Age over the Christmas holidays. I mean, there'll be lots of time to finish it, even though it is a gigantic game, which you probably are well aware. I mean, it's probably, you can finish it 45, 50, but it clocks over 100 for some folks, depending on how much you want to do. So it's personal in terms of what the experience is like, and it's also very customizable. So we're thinking, what I would recommend is you play Dragon Age, then you play Mass Effect, then you play Dragon Age again, get all the PDLC, and then do the same PDLC for Mass Effect, and then play the Dragon Age levels that other people make with the tool set. So probably for the next year, until Star Wars: The Old Republic, just play our games. Ignore all other games. That's what I'm recommending.
Sounds good to me, I guess. So you mentioned that you have played Mass Effect 2 start to finish now.
Yeah, both Ray and I finished it just this last week.
And I want to immediately start needling you for information, but I get the feeling you probably won't tell me that much, so...
I think you get to play it today or something, don't you?
I get to play part of it.
You
get to play all of it.
Yeah,
I guess that's the position of privilege that you're in.
It was awesome. I mean, I think it was an incredible roller coaster ride. Even more intense. It's interesting because I finished it on normal mode, then I immediately started a playthrough in Veterans, which is, of course, a more difficult difficulty. It was super hardcore. I think what's exciting about the game is the combat has been amped up. I mean, when we think about the stuff we wanted to change and improve upon for Mass Effect 1, combat was really the top of the list. We wanted people to really feel that this is a totally legitimate shooter. It's not a watered down shooter. It is as good as any shooter out there, and it is. And then on top of that, you have the depth of the biotic powers and your team members who you now can control individually. It's pretty crazy, and it was incredible to play it. And actually, what's neat about the game is you'll kind of everything will look kind of the same. It's like, hey, I got the same kind of guns, and you'll check and go, wait, I have a heavy weapon. And so there's a few things that are fundamentally different. And then once you get to combat, you'll notice that cover works differently. So all of a sudden, where you're popping in and out of cover. So if you actually, for example, run to a cover object, you'll just slide right into it. We didn't have the first one. There's also really smooth transitions in and out of cover. You can individually direct your guys, and new powers, new stuff. I think we got some other things under our hat. It's funny. In my second playthrough, first when I played an infiltrator, which is was the guy who does a lot of sniping and stuff, and they had one totally unique power I didn't have in Mass 1, which was amazing. And then I just played a Vanguard, and holy crap. There's something in the Vanguard class that is unbelievable, but I'm not telling you what it is.
All right, something to look for.
No,
there you go.
And you may not even see it today. Yeah. But no, it's just I think there's a few things things we've done in the classes, and some of the things we've done that actually there is just more and better. It's really strong, and I think that the stuff you'll see today, you'll totally get the shooting piece. You'll say, holy cow, this is really progressed from what Mass Effect 1 was. And that's our goal, to really drive that intensity. And again, the story is really, I don't want, there's a lot of cool stuff about the story I don't want to reveal, but there's a lot of really great surprises. I think that was one of the other things I found really cool. And then finally, I did a Paragon playthrough, my first play, and I just started the Renegade, and I've already been shocked a couple times with my Renegade stuff, but it's amazing to sort of, again, see the variation of how the game plays, in your second playthrough in a different style. It's very exciting. And I also got some of the, with Mass 1, I got some special unlocks for my new character, and I was like, ooh, we thought of everything. Good job, boys.
You really are privileged, aren't you? You get to mess with all the unlocks beforehand, no pre-order necessary.
I didn't have the dragon armor yet, though. Right. So that was one of the things I was like, man, where's my dragon armor? I think it was the version I was playing wasn't hooked up, and for those of you who don't know, that's the tie-in between the Mass or Dragon Age and Mass Effect. There's actually pseudo armor that appears in both games. I think a first for games.
Nice plug there. Seamless little work.
I'm always selling.
With that increased emphasis on combat, do you feel like the sequel is kind of maybe leaning more shooter than RPG this time, or at least more so than the original game?
Definitely more so than the original. I think you'll see, just the game itself is more intense. I think that's really one of the sort of catch words for us that really tries to capture it. and it was purposeful. And that's not to say that RPG's watered down. I mean, actually, we took a lot of feedback from folks on inventory and how everything worked, and we've actually worked on that a bit. So we'll be some surprises we'll be revealing to folks on how that all works. But it's really, really slick. Another thing that's really pretty impressive is we actually got a lot of feedback from folks about like the exploring the galaxy and the kind of the payoff for that. And I can firsthand, because I've played it, can say that it makes a lot of sense now in terms of the benefit to the end game, and the whole experience of exploration is stronger, better mechanics, and there's a real integration into the overall game experience, which I think the team, again, Casey and his team did a fabulous job doing that.
Can I ask you how long your first playthrough was?
I'm not sure, but it was. I'll tell you, it was longer than Mass 1. Okay. I'll tell you that. Okay. I would even go so far as to say it was surprisingly long, but not Dragon Age long. Okay. Let me just be very clear. It's not Dragon Age long, but it's pretty beefy. And that's actually one thing I was very impressed with is that, again, like I think again, like Mass 1, it felt like the right length. Like I think one thing we really try and do is you never want to feel like you're laboring, kind of like, oh, I got another level. I mean, there's been occasional big games where I was surprised where, like, partway through, I'm like, man, is this over yet? But, like, I swear, Mass, I'm, like, on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Bring it on, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you and your partner in crime, Dr. Ray Musica, you guys have sort of expanded your empire in recent months. You've kind of continued to climb the ladder and started presiding over more of the kind of EA RPG sort of sphere.
Yeah.
I know that includes not only BioWare, but you've got Mythic, I believe.
I work with Mythic folks.
Kind of under your umbrella now. So how are you guys managing all these different studios that are in different regions of the world, essentially? I mean, are you kind of bringing all these teams together on the same projects, or are they still kind of doing their own thing? Like, what have you done so far?
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, we look at the whole sort of cross-section of the stuff in it's called the RPG MMO group. It's the BioWare's 3 studios, Edmonton, Montreal, and Austin, and then you add Mythic in. So we do cover, like, literally almost all corners of the continent. It's kind of crazy, actually. And what we try and do, though, is, I mean, very much like we've always treated the teams in BioWare, they're really independent units. Like, I mean, Casey runs the Mass Effect team, Mark Darrow runs Casey Hudson runs Mass Effect team, Mark Darrow runs the Dragon Age team. We got Rich Vogel, Gordon Walton running Austin, and everyone kind of does their thing. And Ray and I are there to actually act as resources to help out, to help sort of tie things together across the whole group. And then Rob Denton's running the Mythic guys, and we actually get together. We actually had a couple offsites where we got everyone together, sharing notes. I mean, there's a lot of technology sharing. There's a lot of know-how, and I think just we're kind of getting to know each other. It's been going on for a few months, and there's collaboration happening. I mean, way too early to speculate on, hey, we're going to do a split area game in any way substantially. But one thing I can say is Montreal, for example, is doing quite a bit of stuff on Mass Effect too. So there's like a lot of, we're sort of starting that expertise now, and there's actually. It's funny because there was folks in Austin working on ME2 and folks in Edmonton working on Star Wars. So we had this kind of like, hey, some of the folks on each studio are working on each other's games. So we're starting to try and develop that capability, and just it's great to share. I think one of the things we actually do a lot of is people will. I mean, we actually a lot of great feedback from the Mythic folks that were playing the Dragon Age before it was out. I know one of the call it for Jeff Hickman's the exec producer there, and he was maniac. I mean, I think he probably finished Dragon Age 3 times already. And I tell him about secret things he didn't know and get really upset and want to play it again. It was awesome.
Some plans which may or may not be legitimate leaked out recently about the post-release DLC support for Mass Effect 2. Is there anything there that you're willing to confirm or deny at this point?
I don't even know about any plans. They never tell me these things.
Okay, fair enough.
There's going to be some.
Okay.
And there's going to be a lot of it.
You heard it here first. DLC coming from Mass Effect 2.
What a reveal! No, I think to be fair, I mean, I think one thing I talk a lot about in terms of DLC, though, is that, I mean, Mass 1, we wanted to have more than we did, but DLC is really hard. And I think it's not easy to do in the sense that you got to like really pre-plan and build your engine, your technology to accommodate for it. And that was a big learning for Mass 1. We did 2 pieces. We wanted to do more. Mass 2 will have more. There's a lot of really awesome plans. I think one thing, too, is a lot of times you have to start them in advance. Like, I mean, Dragon Age actually has DLC day one because we worked on it before. We worked on the pipeline. I mean, Mass Effect's following the same approach. Some of the same guys are helping out to make sure that, you can continue to explore the galaxy and find cool stuff. And I think that was one of the really cool things that I think we wanted to do on Mass 2 is make sure that DLC fit very naturally. I think I'm very happy with how that fit together. So there is DLC in Mass Effect 2.
Good to know. All right.
Big reveal.
Can all breathe easy now. So the character of Rex has become sort of we're big fans. Let me put it that way. He's become sort of iconic to us. I was hoping
But
maybe
not to
you could-
everyone, because he may not be in some people's games.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm not saying why. No, I mean...
We'll find out. We'll see how it
Well,
goes.
you remember happened to Mass 1, don't you? Depends.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I'm not
he's-
spoiling. I'm
he's
not.
still, okay.
I'm not paying any spoil.
All
But
right.
no, I mean, because this is
He's still in my game.
Well,
I'll say that.
that's what's amazing about Mass Effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, like, because you can have you and I could sit together at the water cooler and say, "I love blah blah blah," and you're like, "Who?" And you go, "Oh, I never met him," or like, or he's dead, or he's missing, or it's very very cool how that all works. So, sorry to interrupt your
No
question.
worries. But I was just hoping you could send us off with your own Rex impression. We've all done our Shepard, from time to time. I just wanted to hear yours.
I remember, I think the one phrase he says in that very pivotal moment was like, "Don't do this, Shepard."
All right,
Remember?
there you have it.
And you remember what happens after that.
There you have
potentially.
it.
There you go. I should have done that into the camera. That might scare the kids out there, though.
Worries, yeah. You can save something for the next interview.
Don't do this, Shepard.
Shepard.
We are already at work on Mass Effect 3, and we're kind of right now split in terms of starting Mass Effect 3 already. We're building the first bits of the story, putting that together, and at the same time, we want to ensure a really great launch for Mass Effect 2, and we're also working on a ton of DLC. So there will be great downloadable content throughout the time that Mass Effect 2 is out there while people are waiting for the third one. You'll always have great stuff, new adventures to play, new things to do. We basically wanted to satisfy the fans' interest in continuing the story, keeping all the great things that they loved, these characters, the world, and seeing where that goes. And we've done all of that stuff. There's a great story there for people to experience. But beyond that, we've also improved all of the things that we wanted to and the fans wanted us to from the first game. So it really satisfies all of the design goals that we started off with. The exciting thing, obviously, in the final chapter of the series is going to be just seeing where everything goes that we've started. With Mass Effect 1 and now Mass Effect 2, you'll see when you play it, all of these threads keep going. And not only that, it's all of the choices that you've made. You've made choices. If you've played Mass Effect 1, you'll see those in Mass Effect 2, and it just cascades. And people will see that by the time you finish Mass Effect 2, you'll know that it's your universe, everything is the way that you set it out, and then all of these things get to come to fruition and come to some kind of ending in the final chapter. Mass Effect 2 is the middle act in the trilogy, and so, we like to look at, the great stories, the great story structure, hero's journey. In the second act, that's where you've done the first part where you know about what's going on in the universe, you figure out what's happening in the story. Second act is really where you really get into a lot of trouble. You're trying to fight what's really going on in a more direct way, and you get in way over your head. The achievement data from Mass Effect 1 was one of the ways that we were able to look at how players actually experienced the game. How many people chose certain characters, or how far they went through the game. And so we were able to learn things about pacing and where we needed to make sure that we really hooked people. So for example, Mass Effect 2 literally starts off with a bang, and it pulls you, it just hauls you through those opening hours of the game, and you keep wanting to know more, and it keeps revealing more in a way that you can't put it down. I think Mass Effect 2 is going to be remembered for the total package, the complete experience of exploration that's amazing, an incredible story, memorable moments with characters in the story, and of course, incredible combat.
Target down!
Casey Hudson, executive producer on the Mass Effect franchise.
No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
When we started the first Mass Effect, we certainly hoped that it would become this popular. We wanted to create a huge, exciting new science fiction property, and I think that's what's happened. I think there's a huge fan base of millions of people out there who are really excited about anything new in the Mass Effect universe.
I think the biggest evolution that people will see in Mass Effect 2 is, first of all, as a game, it just stands on its own so much better. You can jump right into Mass Effect 2. You don't need to have played the first one. This is really the best game so far in the Mass Effect trilogy, so you can start right here. The combat's better, the graphics are better, and I think people will notice that as soon as they jump into it. Well, today we're showing a new downloadable pack. It's called Overlord. And it's actually one of our biggest packs that we've released for Mass Effect 2. It's well over 2 hours of content, 5 new gameplay areas. And really what it's about is a scientist who's created an AI that's a fusion of human and Geth, and it's extremely powerful, and it's trying to beam itself off this planet and get onto the galactic communications grid. And so you're there trying to stop it.
Commander Shepard?
He has no idea what he's getting into.
I think downloadable content is really important nowadays. If you love a game and you've finished it, really the way that you can extend your experience and just get more out of it is through downloadable content. So that's what we're trying to do with Mass Effect 2.
One very specific man might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence.
The Overlord pack that we're showing here today isn't the end of the downloadable sequence of content that we have. We're going to continue to tell the story between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 using downloadable content.
There is only one measure of success. Kill or be killed.
When I play Mass Effect 2, the thing that really strikes me is just, our vision at BioWare is to deliver these emotionally engaging narratives, just really kind of grab you and never let you go. And I think Mass Effect 2 fulfills that as well or better than anything else we've ever done. It's an immersive universe that the pacing, the moment to moment, the exploration, the combat, the story arcs, the choices you get to make and the outcomes, the consequences of those choices. There's tons of stuff to do. It just pulls you along moment to moment, and emotionally you're just drawn in. You can't stop playing. So I think we're always striving to make each game better than the last at BioWare, and I think the Mass Effect 2 team has done it yet again. So I'm really proud of them. So in Mass Effect 2, you're really given the context of the whole story arc right from the beginning. So you don't have to have played Mass Effect 1 to have an amazing experience. You figure out what's going on soon after you start playing the game. So I don't want to spoil the surprises because there is a bit of a surprise at the start of Mass Effect 2, but literally within the first 30 minutes, you're just brought right into the action. You get a tutorial, you get all the context, you get the prologue, and then you're thrown out into the galaxy to start exploring and just kicking ass.
What are you doing here? I thought you were still a work in progress.
I just woke up. You probably know more than I do.
And I think the difference is just the intensity of the action. We really focused on the shooter aspects of the gameplay, along with the RPG aspects, the depth and richness of the systems that RPGs are known for. But we've really brought the combat to bear, so it feels as much as anything like a shooter as well as a role-playing game at the same time. And if I'm going to just sum it up, I would say it's intensity. Intensity is just the word I would use to describe Mass Effect 2. It just pulls you in, it doesn't let you go. Well, we really take developing characters at BioWare, we take it really seriously, and we want to bring characters to life and make them feel real and credible and just emotionally engaging. So there's more choices for characters in Mass Effect 2 than in Mass Effect 1. There's more choices for romance options in Mass Effect 2 than Mass Effect 1. You have to still work at it, you still have to progress this story, you have to get them to like you, you have to develop that relationship. So, that's there in spades, and I think you're going to have a great time as you do that. The characters are just that much more emotionally compelling. You're going to like some of them, you're going to hate some of them. But I think either reaction is a valid way to really provoke that emotional engagement, and Mass Effect 2 just delivers that. But if you did make certain decisions in Mass Effect 1, whether that's your background or certain decisions you made along the way, who lives, who dies, the end game, and what the outcome of the council is, and all those things will be reflected in Mass Effect 2, and in some cases you might even see them reflected in Mass Effect 3. I don't want to give away any surprises, but we've had a story arc with the trilogy planned for a long, long time. But we've always thought of them as standalone adventures. They got to be like, kick ass from beginning to end on their own, and Mass Effect 2 definitely delivers that. In the first game, humanity was kind of entering the galactic arena, sort of, kind of naive, and isn't it wonderful we get to go to the Citadel and see all this cool alien stuff. Then you realize what the Citadel actually is, and holy crap, that's pretty scary. And in Mass Effect 2, you're entering the galaxy with that knowledge. The humanity is now a force to be reckoned with, and the other alien races, they aren't really huge fans of that in some cases.
If you're looking for weapons, you're not doing a very good job.
Can't be too careful with dead specters.
So there's a little more behind-the-scenes political machinations as well. You know, some dark, seedy underbelly that's now revealed. So you're going into this, and it's actually the dark second act, and it really just plays right into the tone we tried to set up for the second game. Well, if I was going to describe what I love about Mass Effect 2, it's probably the intensity of the pacing. You know, moment to moment, all the systems integrate together really seamlessly. So you're always thinking about, you know, where you get to go next on the galaxy map, because that's exploring that is really fun. And of course, there's new abilities and the tech abilities, biotic abilities you can progress to. There's ammo, so that they have more tactical moment-to-moment impacts on battles, what kind of ammo you use, what tech abilities, biotic abilities you're using. There's emergent effects as those all fit together. The story arc is that same rich, deep story arc with great dialogue, choice, and consequences. And the combat, you know, just the intensity of the combat. All those things, you progress your characters along, they make a material difference in the outcomes of battles, which squad mates you bring alongside you, companion characters, and what abilities you choose to deploy in the field. So strategy and tactics are there in depth too. But you pull it all back, what it's all about is just the intensity of the pacing, and it all fits together so that you're just drawn in the experience and it never lets you go.